Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of the Raw Recap here on Pro Wrestling Sheet. I am your host, John Rocha. Excited to talk about this Raw. So much to go. I even got a little banter going back and forth with Ryan's girlfriend last night about this Goldberg stuff. So we got a lot going on. And speaking of Ryan,
you guys misrepresented me in that conversation, and we'll talk about it. But
speaking of Ryan, that's that man to my right, the editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's like not 100 degrees today for once, which is nice. For now, fingers crossed.
Oh man.
Yeah, I interviewed Ethan Page yesterday, who's an Impact wrestler, but he's not from California, and he was like, I don't understand how people are wearing pants in this weather. It's so hot. He was like, in flip-flops and shorts or whatever. And I was like, no, trust me, I get it. I was like, I've worn shorts to the office every day in this 100-degree weather. I don't even care. You made fun of me the other day because I had flip-flops on.
Yeah. I wish I could. It's just not my nature to do it unless I'm like off-site.
Fully off-site?
Yeah, when I'm at work, I have this mentality because, the way I was raised, it's like I got to wear jeans, I got to wear a button-down or some polo or some version of that. It's just my mentality. I get it. The kids nowadays, they wear whatever to work, but that's how I'm built.
Well, I mean, luckily, I run my own site, and there's really nobody who really cares. But when I used to work at TMZ, there was always that vibe in there.
Yeah.
Well, not the polo necessarily, but definitely I had a boss who I'm very friendly with still to this day, but he would always get mad at me for wearing shorts. He was like, I'm telling you, if you want to be a boss, you want to be considered one of the higher ups, you can't wear shorts to work and flip-flops. And I'd be like, well, we work by the beach. So
I mean, that's a fair point. It is the beach.
But I get that mentality too. Luckily, my one sole boss isn't here in the office as monitoring me 24/7, so I can get away with it.
If I had my own site, trust me, I just wear my underwear to work. That's all I'd wear. But that's the way.
You wouldn't want to see that.
I look like
you wouldn't want to see me walking around the office in my underwear all day. I got to do that for 4 years before coming here. So
fair enough. Well, let's jump into this thing. Raw, so much happened last night that was so great to talk about. But let's start out with Samoa Joe coming out here. Well, first of all, they had a very touching tribute to the incidents that happened in El Paso and in Dayton, what happened with the shooters there. So heartbreaking to see everything that happened. And they did a nice, beautiful tribute. You could tell some wrestlers were really emotional about it, especially Alexa being front and center. You could tell she was really broken up about it. I think that's a positive thing. Whatever your political affiliation are, a bullet doesn't know what side of the fence you're on. It just takes you out. And unfortunately, that's what happened over the weekend. And kudos to WWE for offering a sweet tribute to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that sometimes the mentality in wrestling is it used to be don't start the show off on a somber note with something sad. I mean, maybe a 10-bell salute for a legendary wrestler, but you don't want to bring the real world problems into your fictional TV show. But I think it's great that they do that.
Yep.
I think that, to show that these people, are hurting just like everybody else, it means something. Also, I don't know if you saw this, but did you see that the bouncer in Dayton, who stopped
was a former wrestler,
who stopped the gunman from coming in, is a pro wrestler. I guess his name's Jeremy Ganger, I believe. But he wrestles on the East Coast, smaller indie stuff.
Right.
But I mean, shout out to that guy for being a hero. I mean, that guy. I don't think he's got a pro wrestling tease story yet, but he needs to get on it because I want to be able to, funnel support for him in that direction. But yes, I agree with you. Very classy of WWE. Same for the Harley Race tribute. I think that
absolutely.
I think the fact that they did both was very classy on their part. Very classy on their part.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'll talk a little more about Harley Race later on in the show. But Samoa Joe comes out after that very nice tribute. Really angry that he's getting accused to be the one who attacked Roman Reigns in that terrible vignette they did last week. I can't believe they replayed it. We should just walk away from it and pretend like the wild card that it never happened.
Disagree.
Yeah, whoa, you're insane. Well, anyway, he went off about it, and he went at Corey Graves. He stood up on the table, and he was saying, I'm going to take over Raw, and Raw doesn't start without me, blah, blah, blah. And then Becky Lynch's music started and she walked out. So that was that. But what did you think about that beginning?
Look,
Although I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, so okay, good. Because I think that, yes, while the initial thing was a little cheesy with the way it was shot, and we appropriately joked about it last week, it's growing on me a little bit. And okay, look, I realize that all the social media things are just so cheesy. They're so dumb. Of it's the forklift driver. It's not the forklift driver.
Right.
Roman Reigns is okay because it was just a mistake on a forklift driver's fault. But now he's realized that it's not the forklift driver's fault, so he's not angry. And all this is going down on social media. And while it's cheesy, I also think, look at WWE entertainment in general is to give people an escape, to give people something to get their mind off of the mundane daily life they're going through.
Sure.
And as silly as this Roman Reigns stuff is, it's providing fun content on social media. It's providing fun stuff on the interesting stuff on the show now. It's giving Joe something to do. It's kind of giving like a mystery vibe to different people. Was it Buddy Murphy? Was it Daniel Bryan? Was it Samoa Joe?
Was it Rowan?
Was it Rowan? All these people. So I like that that vibe of it. I thought Samoa Joe did a great job here.
He did.
He throughout the night. I mean, Samoa Joe has been killing it lately in general. The past, since he's come up to the main roster, I think. But really, ever since like that AJ Styles feud to now, he's just been on another level. Yeah. And a lot of people tried to act last night. Yeah. And I felt like Samoa Joe's the only one who did a great job of it.
Thank you. That's a great point you make.
Yeah. Is that when we'll get to the Seth Rollins acting attempt later in the night, but Samoa Joe was the only one who was acting last night, and in a believable manner where he had a full arc. Yep. And you weren't like, that's not believable. Of course he's gonna be angry. The Samoan Summit got messed up last week or whatever. He's angry, and now everyone's accusing him when he was trying to attack Samoa Joe and his homies in front of his face or whatever. So I
like that he was like, there's not one frame of me. No matter what Caleb Braxton, there's no one frame of me next to or near Caleb Braxton, blah, blah, blah. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Also, with the Becky Lynch thing, I've noticed a subtle shift to where they're trying to get back to where Becky Lynch was when the man first popped off. Because her interrupting Samoa Joe was kind of like the Becky Lynch we all were into. This is the Becky Lynch everyone was pumped on. And so I think that was smart to do that, especially on the heels of the WWE 2K20 announcement. Did you watch the commercial?
That commercial is great.
It's so good.
Her crashing through the top of the ceiling, and then everyone's going like, damn. And Stone Cold and all them, all I can think about is, it's incredible that this is the woman that does it. No one, people, you could have won millions of dollars predicting that this was going to be the woman that breaks through and levels the playing field in such an incredible way. No one saw it coming. Doesn't take away anything from the other female wrestlers that came before, but there's something about all the factors combining into Becky Lynch's push, and Becky Lynch's natural personality and how the fans have responded to her that got her to this spot. And it's pretty incredible that she's the one that crashes through.
Absolutely. Right? I think absolutely. If you'd gone back in time, you wouldn't have guessed that she'd be the one that
it'd be Ronda or Charlotte
that is crashing through the glass ceiling of the boys club and walking up to Hulk Hogan and saying sorry about your ceiling, dropping something in his drink and walking on. Genius.
Yes.
And I love it, and you definitely wouldn't have been able to predict that a year ago. And so I really think the commercial started the help of getting her back there a little bit, because you go I remember that's the Becky Lynch I've been waiting for when she's talking shit to all the legends, not the one where she's high-fiving him and stuff, know? And I think that's probably why in the next match they didn't have her team with Trish Stratus, even though they probably should have had her on Trish's team.
Yeah, let's talk about that. That was such a weird thing, having Charlotte pair with Becky after all the animosity between them. And then you put Trish with Natty. Natty's kind of like the heel, possibly, in this feud.
Totally the heel in this.
Or she's the heel in this feud. So why is she with Trish, who's not the heel in the feud with Charlotte? Charlotte's the heel. It was such a weird, because what was the reason? There was no reason given.
Well, the reason was clear. The reason was clearly so that Trish Stratus wouldn't have to wrestle.
Yeah, I guess.
Which I get it. To be honest with you, I actually at the end of it all,
a full match.
What?
I'd rather get her some minutes than not.
Really?
Of course. If she's going to wrestle a full match in 7 days or 6 days, I'd rather get her some minutes so her timing is good.
See,
practice? We're talking about practice?
She's clearly practicing. It's not like she's not practicing.
Right, but in ring, live event ring is not.
Yeah, but it's not like Trish Stratus doesn't have an experience in the ring in front of a crowd.
Of course she does.
I think that doesn't apply as much with a legend like Trish Stratus.
Look at Goldberg against Taker.
Because he's probably not in the ring training. I don't think he's like going. No, it's not. I don't think he's like sitting there running the ropes for an hour and like doing all those kinds of things in the ring and taking bumps, taking flat back bumps repeatedly to try and get back in shape. He's not doing that, but I could definitely see Trish Stratus doing that. I mean,
sure.
I don't know that, but I'd have a hard time believing she wasn't doing that.
Yeah,
especially if this might be especially it might be her last match. It's a good chance this could be her last match.
That's a good point.
And because it might be her last match, that's kind of why I felt like it was smarter
saving her.
To save it.
Yeah, okay.
You save that. Like, honestly, yes, it would have made more sense, like I said, to have Becky and Trish teaming. But when it was over, because the whole time I was going, that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But when it was over and you saw that, like, Charlotte went out of the ring, that Trish had to come save the day because she's the hero.
Right.
When you see all these kinds of things, you're like, oh, okay, well, they did appropriately build up Charlotte and Trish. They did appropriately build up Natty and Becky. And ultimately, they didn't give it all away.
No, they didn't. And you're right about that. And maybe that's what it was, is like by having them be in these alternate tag teams, that it didn't allow for one narrative to overtake the other narrative. You're able to sell both matches that are going to happen at SummerSlam, and you at the end you're like, okay, we saved Trish. Charlotte got her shots in on Becky, so that feud is still bubbling underneath. And then Natty got the sharpshooter on Becky, and Becky's angry about it. And we saw that in their backstage interviews as well afterwards.
And at the end of the day, you've also preserved Becky Lynch's badassery a little bit by not having her bow down to Trish Stratus. That she's not like, oh, I'm gonna let Trish Stratus take this. And when Trish Stratus helped her, it was like, hey, right. It was like she didn't need it. So I like that.
Yeah.
At the end of it all, I liked it. Even though I was like looking at it going, if you were gonna do that, it might make sense.
Yeah, it was a weird decision, but it kind of worked out possibly.
Yeah, and it was different. So I was like, okay, I'll take this.
Yeah. Well, the backstage interviews were given there. We should jump to that before we move to the next match. Yeah, interesting. What did you think of that? With Becky and with Natty.
I like Natty.
I know you do, brother man.
I'm a fan of Natty.
And I gave Natty props last week.
What did you think then this week?
No. Look, I think it's tough for me because Natty is an awesome individual from what I've seen, and what I know behind the scenes, and what I've researched.
I think she's a fantastic wrestler too.
And she's obviously, because she trains a lot of them when they come through. But there's something about when she plays these characters that just does not ring true.
I agree with you in that sense.
She doesn't have that heel thing when she makes the switch that's believable. It looks like someone putting on cosplay of a heel and isn't a full heel.
I completely agree with you. I do not think playing the heel is her strong suit unless she's got someone to like play off of, like when she was managing Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, or like things like that. But I don't feel like because you've seen her on Total Divas, and you've seen how sad she can be on there and her struggles, and you've like gone through it with her. It's just not as believable in my opinion, And so, especially going to Canada, I think that you can easily have Natty play the like Canadian pride thing, and some people will just see that as a heel thing, and you don't have to have her say the word sharpshooter 100 times in a promo,
right? And many people have broken out of that sharpshooter over the years multiple times, so it's not a scary move.
I was almost wondering if like they're giving them a little bit more leeway in their promos to like do their own thing, and she's just struggling with it a little bit.
Well, and that's when you find out who's really got it instinctively and who needs to have it written for them. I really do. I saw that, and we'll talk about in the 24/7, same thing. To me, it's like, if you've got it, and I go back to that interview, Freddie Prinze Jr. did on ESPN, talking about Cena, and Cena saying some people got it and they don't got it. He's talking about wrestling. But I think with promos, and for me being a student of actors and an actor myself, I look at the WWE with a different eye when I watch these promos, right? And so for me, that's what I'm looking for: authenticity.
Absolutely.
And some people authentically can play that role well and can roll with whatever's given, and if they get a little rope, can make it work with that rope. She doesn't necessarily have that ability, and it's always been, to me, the thing that has held her back from being like the top star, the superstar, is that little bit that's missing on the mic, and it shows this time.
And I feel like
if you go back to the same thing over and over again, it's because it's a crutch.
I do think though that she is much more authentic when she is playing the face character.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
you'll get no argument from me on that.
Because she is good at like getting the crowd into her, like getting behind her. You know, people want to support Natty. You know, and so I agree with you wholeheartedly in that aspect. Because I watch it the same way.
Right.
I grew up in TV.
Yeah, you know.
I went to acting school forever. I always wanted to be an actor growing up until I started working in news randomly, and so like. I also watch from a different lens like that. And so that's why I said the same thing about Samoa Joe earlier. And that's why I'll say what else. We'll talk about Seth Rollins still later.
And Becky was fine in her promo as always.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Her promo wasn't bad.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to one of the matches of the night. Andrade versus Rey. Lord God, thank you so much, whoever decided to let this happen, for giving us this match.
You just said it was God.
Thank you, God. It was so fantastic. Gracias, Dios.
Wrestling God.
Yeah, Dios. It was such a fantastic back and forth between Rey and Andrade here, all over the place, and limited Zelina interference, which I thought was good too. She interfered when she was supposed to, which was perfect. But everything else that was happening, all these insane moves, the flipping over, the stuff outside. Man, when he flipped over and threw Andrade into the
sunset flip,
the sunset
powerbomb
flip
thing?
into the powerbomb into the side of the thing, I was just like, holy crap! Like,
dude, when he did that, the bumps. When Rey did that springboard moonsault and Andrade caught him in like the crucifix position, and then it turned into the crucifix, I went like, what the hell? Or like when Rey did the like when they did the thing together, the what's the word I'm looking for? When you do the roll with your feet thing.
All right.
Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. The victory roll. There we go. We do like the victory roll thing. And then it flipped up into the destroyer. My mind just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like
even the moment on the corner when you thought maybe they botched Rey's Hurricane Run and he got stuck underneath, having Andrade, jump both his feet onto Rey's chest while he's pinned against, that's just fantastic work, And you're watching, yes, luchador wrestling is where it is, but these guys kind of elevated into a main roster type of approach, and I love it. I love watching when they get chances.
I said it on Twitter last night that, just the chemistry in the ring between Andrade and Rey Mysterio is off the charts.
Yeah.
It is insane to me. Those two guys, they're just like on another level when they're in the ring together. My mind is blown. I don't have enough good things to say about it because they're just so good. And when you factor in Rey's age and you just go, how is he wrestling on the same level as a guy Andrade's age who's like peak physical condition? And you just go, man, thank God for stem cell treatments, dude, because they saved Rey Mysterio's career. He is just revitalized. He is putting on matches that he was putting on when he was like in his 20s, and you just go, hell yeah, Rey Mysterio, hell yeah. Because honestly, I've said it before, but like one of these days we're gonna do our top 10 wrestlers list, and I honestly think Rey Mysterio is gonna be my top 5. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
Because it's gonna be my personal top 5. I think, right? Not like who's actually the top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time. Right. I don't know. We'll figure out the parameters at one point.
One of these days.
But dude, like he is just. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just insane. The fact that he's spanned this many decades and is still putting on those kinds of matches, and it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. I feel like he has to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
I don't disagree with you, man. Yeah, I think in terms of endurance, in terms of accomplishments, in terms of his ability to work with just about anybody. Influence, right. And it's rare. And the fact that you speak about influence, and the fact that of all the luchadors, he is number one at having gotten to the top spot in the main promotion.
Yep.
And that is incredibly rare.
Without losing his mask?
Influences others. Yeah, without losing his mask.
Without losing his mask. Yeah. At his size.
Yeah.
Compared to, not every luchador is Rey Mysterio size. There's big luchadors, but his size, the fact that with his size, he was able to get to the top of WWE, which is a big man's game in America. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I thoroughly agree.
I got a lot of shit this weekend from Conan. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, of course, we talked about it.
That was weird.
Conan.
That was a weird one. You would think like it was like who cares if I don't want to watch AAA?
Peep this. Look, I loved Conan when he was in the red and black, when he was NWO. Like,
he's the best. And I love Conan now. We argue, don't see eye to eye. He believes I am a quote unquote snowflake, social justice warrior type. But like,
no offense, if you're on the other side doing a 20 tweet thread as well, back and forth, you got a little snow on you as well. No offense.
It wasn't 20 tweets,
LAX.
Rocha. Don't make me look bad.
You both. I'm saying you both.
I know.
If you're both going back and forth, that's Snowflake City. No offense.
That's why I finally had to say something. I was like, are we going to call a spade here? I mean, you can't call me a snowflake and be involved in this conversation.
Exactly. That's the way it works. I hate to break it to you.
I will say I do want to go back and watch Cain Velasquez's match, though, because I want to see how well he wrestled. Because I'm interested. I love Cain Velasquez.
Fair. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, let's move on to the 24/7 title. This happened at the OBGYN. Wow, was this horrible until R-Truth showed up. In my opinion, Maria and Michael are just absolutely terrible. And when we're talking about acting, which we just did earlier, the fact that they were just repeating the same lines over and over again, they've been repeating over and over again the whole time, but the pinning was brilliant. Having the OBGYN do the pin OBGYN do the pin on the back of Mike was brilliant, and then the R-Truth stuff was genius. You got your baby, I got mine. I thought that was great, but I hope we're done with the analysis on this, please.
You left out the two best R-Truth lines. You went with the wrong one. OBGY not.
OBGY not was hilarious.
And my water broke. As he drops that baby out from his crotch.
Haven't seen anything like that since the Daniel Bryan Miz fake baby situation.
Yeah, someone brought up how it was like when those broken Matt Hardy things when Rebby Hardy came out with the fake baby, like it was Maxwell or Wolfgang, one of the two, and Wolfgang, and threw it at Jeff, and he caught it like what, and then Matt put him through a table. It was very similar to that too. Okay, before I get all that. The producer in me, when I was watching this, I couldn't stop laughing at the set of this supposed OBGYN.
Yeah.
It was just purple curtains, these curtains, or you can't see the ones over there, but it was just like curtains on clearly like a brick concrete wall, and then just TVs up that say OBGYN with the doctor's name, and for some reason. Like it was spread apart, so it was like OBGYN, which made it even more ridiculous looking. I mean, I laughed. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I laugh at these things. Do I think they were like some expert comedy acting? No, I don't.
That's the shame of it.
I enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I mean, no. Would I say that their acting was great? No. Did I laugh? Yes. Was I ashamed of it? A little, but I mean, her degrading Mike is making me laugh.
Okay.
Him pinning her while she's got her legs spread.
That was
funny.
I like that.
Especially with the female referee.
Because we had talked about pinning her while she's having the baby or pinning the baby.
Yeah, I mean, and then the doctor, the female referee taking off the doctor's thing, counting. I laughed. Carmella and R-Truth in the waiting room was too funny. I'm sorry. Right when you panned in and saw what was going on, I honestly expected them to drag it out longer instead of just one segment like that. I expected it to go a little more, but it made me laugh. I mean, him saying my water broke. Yeah. And that's dropping the baby from this.
It all works when R-Truth shows up. Everything before R-Truth was just not good. It was frustrating.
R-Truth should honestly get a shirt that was your quote just now that says, wow, this segment was horrible until R-Truth showed up.
Yeah.
That's like the story of his career, the segments he gets handed and somehow he makes them work.
He always makes. I went into a wormhole the other night with all his stuff with Goldust.
Okay.
All the vignettes between him and Goldust are, the lack of a better term, gold. I mean, they're just fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
And him trying to convince him to be his partner. All of it is just brilliant. So to me, that's where R-Truth lives best. So we'll see what happens now with him having the title again.
And I feel like the Canellises aren't leaving the 24/7 title picture anytime soon, I don't think.
Damn it. Well, give him new lines, for God's sakes. The same thing over. And like she lost the title, all she did was like that kind of overacting is ridiculous. Do something real. Start to try to get out of the stirrups and go get the title back. Like, do something authentic. Anyway, let's move on. All right.
I love you act like it's on her doing that, and and not what she was directed to do.
She was not directed to be like, don't give me anything, just sit there
Have you
and
ever
do the same
watched
over
those
thing.
backstage segments where they literally just stare at each other like this?
Yeah.
As the segment goes, it's the same exact thing.
Well, no,
It's literally
yes and
the
no.
exact same thing.
You can make things work within the parameters of what you're given.
No, I know, but they don't know. They do that for cutting purposes.
Yeah, but if you stay on them for so long, then there's
That's not on her.
No, but an actor can ask, how long is the camera going to be on me? That's what an actor does. The good one.
This is live television, Rocha.
All right. No, that's pre-taped.
That one was a pre-tape,
Thank
probably.
you. All right, let's move on. God damn it.
Probably. We don't. Who knows?
That's true. Well, they did 2 separate rooms. All right, Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Lesnar comes out with Heyman. They cut another one of these good promos. Heyman calling out Rollins, saying he's got more balls and brains. All this stuff, laying the say, I hear he's here. He shouldn't be here. It's insane that he's here. Blah blah blah. And then Rollins shows up, hobbling down the ring with a chair, gets his ass completely handed to him. Gets an F5, then during the commercial break gets another F5, and then Rollins gets on the mic. All right, up until this point, how are you feeling about everything?
I thought it was dumb. I'm sorry.
Even him hobbling down.
Just the whole, yeah.
Before
we even get to his promo,
okay.
Before we even get to his promo.
It was just dumb him because they're showing the show. Oh, he's a warrior. He's a warrior.
But does it show that?
That's what I'm saying. That was probably
That's
their
clearly
intention.
that was clearly their intention.
I
but
didn't like it either.
It goes. You go like, why is he stupid?
Yeah.
You go like he can't. He can't do it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna care. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
It just makes you look dumb.
Yeah.
Right?
And injures you more when you could be healing up so that you'd be closer to 100% if we're buying the storyline.
Yeah, if we're going on
with the parameters of the storyline. He could be home training, blah, blah, blah. He could have done a promo from his house or whatever, showing him struggling to lift.
I'm hurt. He literally could have done that whole promo from a via satellite that he did at the end. I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
All of that.
I mean, I like that we got Brock Lesnar on the show.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I think it helps when he's on the show repeatedly.
I don't disagree.
I don't think it endeared him like a Tommy Dreamer to the crowd.
Yeah, right.
I think that it instead made him look dumb. Yep. Because, with a Tommy Dreamer, he's beaten repeatedly, keeps getting back up. Mm-hmm. I think that's a little different than already got beaten, came back, and then not beaten even as bad because he's so weak. It was just kind of like, what? And
telegraphed the whole thing by walking down there with a chair.
Yeah, because I honestly thought that I know that it's one of those wrestling tropes, but it definitely seemed like he was doing the whole hobble to the ring thing, and then he was going to trick Brock Lesnar and be at full strength and fight him back. Yeah. But
he should take cues from his girlfriend like Becky did with the crutches.
Yeah,
Becky hobbled down, and then boom, she used the crutches and got the best of Ronda or whatever, even though she was on a weak leg. So that's what right, that's what you needed to see. But it got destroyed, and then we got this promo, which this promo to me came out all kinds of wrong. I get what they were going for, right, to kind of turn the tide, because people are turning on Seth on social media. People are kind of booing him when he comes out now, because they're kind of tired of this whole game with him. And him going overboard defending WWE on social media against other wrestlers, too, that rubs fans the wrong way. All of it is a bad mix for him right now in his career, and him doing this promo did not help at all, in my opinion. What did you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that it's a mix. Look, I respect Seth Rollins for going out there and what he's been saying and to defend the company he works for.
I hear that, yeah.
But yeah, it does turn some people off. It does turn some fans off who were like, well, we're Moxley. We're Team Moxley. We're Team Mox. So fuck you, Seth Rollins. And I think it does turn some people off. I think also on top of that, looking like I'm trying to think of the right word, but the Becky Lynch stuff didn't help him.
Nope.
The Becky Lynch stuff just didn't help him at all. It didn't make him look like a tough guy. Nope. It didn't make him look like a guy who should be who has the ball of the company and is running with it. It kind of brought it down a little bit.
Yeah, undercut him a little bit.
And when you look at what's ahead, you go, well, if you remember, he had to low blow Brock Lesnar 100 times to beat him.
That's a good point. That's a good point to throw into this as well, in the whole ball of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't beat Brock Lesnar in devastating fashion.
Right.
He pretty much cheated to beat Brock Lesnar. I mean, I know that we just like Brock Lesnar and wanted Seth to win, but if you look at it cut and dry. He cheated to beat Brock Lesnar. It's not like he did anything like heroic or anything like that. And now he's pissed off Brock Lesnar, who retook his title, ruined his insides, and now he's going to ruin him at SummerSlam. I like all that. I just felt like this promo was like, it just felt very acted. It was literally the opposite of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe felt very organic throughout the night. All his acting beats made you feel like what he was doing was authentic. Like, this is who this person is. I don't think anybody believes that this is who Seth Rollins is. I think that, kind of like you said with Natty, my problem always with Seth Rollins as a face has been it doesn't feel authentic to him. Like, I'm not saying that I think Seth Rollins is a bad person, but Seth Rollins is a cocky dude. That's why he went out there on social media and said all that stuff, because he truly believes in himself and what he is doing, and he wants to wave that flag. And you know what? Like, that attitude, as much as I appreciate it because I'm kind of like that myself, I think it does turn other people off. I think that I have that happen to me all the time in real life, where like, when you're too cocky and when you're too like don't need anybody else, people don't like that.
It's true.
And people fans start to look at you differently. No, why doesn't he needs us? We're the fans. He needs us.
Why doesn't he kiss our butt more?
Why doesn't he kiss our ass? Without us, he's nothing. So why do we care about him? Oh, and now he's Becky's, he's punking himself out for Becky all the time, So, I mean, that's how a large portion of the crowd is starting to look at Seth Rollins. And I think that this promo didn't endear him anymore to that crowd. If anything, it did the exact opposite, where everyone was going like, yep, that's what we think. And that's why he was getting what chance by the end of it?
What chance? Yeah.
That's not good.
So I'm telling you, the what chance come in handy. They're supposed to be there to let you know you ain't doing a good job.
Anyways.
Hate the what chance all you want, but they are a perfect indicator of that.
But one thing I think they are an indicator of, regardless, whatever we disagree on, but like, they are definitely an indicator of whatever you're doing is not working.
Yep.
And for the majority of the crowd, at least the ones who were there live. And so, I just think that.
Plus, it's the same beats over and over. We've heard so many times.
And this crowd isn't going to be sympathetic for a guy in fucking skinny jeans. I'm sorry. Like, I ain't got nothing against people who wear skinny jeans, but I'm sorry, this crowd isn't going to be all sympathetic to guy in skinny jeans crying about getting beaten up in the ring. Like, and how he doesn't care about getting beaten up. That's just not going to work, At least Tommy Dreamer was in sweatpants when he was doing that kind of stuff and covered in blood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, if he'd come down in his wrestling gear, maybe that's a different situation. Maybe.
I just think that a lot of fuck skinny jeans asshole
maybe
crying in the ring. Maybe
should have come out with shorts.
maybe. Yeah, exactly, and flip flops.
Shorts and flips.
That's why people love Matt Riddle, dude. He's got them slides.
That's true.
Everyone's like, yeah, Matt Riddle, he's like me. Where's some flip flops?
Yeah, that's true. It's a fair point. But yeah, I mean, like in him, like we've seen it. Like Cena did that to The Rock. We've seen every single time. This is my lifeblood. This is Reigns did that whole angle a year ago, or that whole promo, same thing a year ago, where he's like, "This is where I live. This is where I breathe." Blah blah blah, all that stuff. So every wrestler does that shit. We're tired of hearing it, to be honest. We've heard it from numerous wrestlers over the last few years, and there's nothing authentic about it.
And also, most of those were like.
Yeah,
as opposed to like in the corner. It was almost like Raven-esque, where it was like
you start wondering if it's all worth it. Yeah, right.
Is it all worth it?
Existential crisis is what I'm saying.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
The Raven thing makes sense. That's a great connection.
He was in the corner like, what about me? What about me? Seth Rollins?
By the way, I loved that angle until it went too far.
With Raven?
Yeah.
Raven. I love Raven.
Yeah. The what about me was great. And then it just got to be like, when it veered into whining territory versus like actually angry that he's not getting the opportunities, then I was like done with it. But it was great for what it was when it first started.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Honestly, I think Raven is one of the best wrestling characters of the Attitude Era.
Oh, hands down. Hands down.
I think I don't think like most popular of the Attitude Era, but one of the best characters of the Attitude Era who just like defined... Who was one of those like people who was just of the time.
Yep.
That. I don't know necessarily that gimmick works today.
No.
But it worked then.
It was a grunge thing. Grunge so it couldn't work now, but like.
I mean, it might. You never know. Like,
but they never bring him back.
Full circle. No, not Raven himself. I just mean necessarily the gimmick of like rich kid who now is like brooding grunge kid.
Right.
I always like that that thing, that gimmick.
All right, well, let's move on to Kurt Angle in the backstage with the Street Profits there. They bring out the milk, talk about how they were fans of him because he won the gold medal with a broken freaking neck. All of it pouring milk into his cup. Really fun banter between them.
When Montez pulled the milk out, I was dying. Just like the way he did it cracked me up. It was just like so, like he opened like, oh, we gonna party or whatever he said, and like pulled out milk. I love that.
It was great. And Angle doesn't get a word in edgewise between those two dudes because they're just so great at controlling the mic and doing well with the mic and more power to them.
He had that one line. He goes, he said, I promised my wife I wouldn't get crazy tonight, guys, right. when they pulled out the milk.
That's right. But then, we see McIntyre behind it, and McIntyre says, you better call it down the middle. Because you're going to be guest referee between me and Cedric Alexander, which, of course, we find out a little bit later doesn't fully happen.
Yeah.
But good promo for all, and Street Profits especially, talking about their match coming up here at TakeOver before SummerSlam. So I'm looking forward to that.
I thought, I feel like the Street Profits are fun, even though they're not like, they don't have like a full purpose yet on the show.
They're already ready, man.
Yeah, they're ready.
Right?
Oh yeah. They're already ready. I feel like they have to be dropping the tag titles this weekend. And that's really the only reason that like they've just been doing the same thing on Raw without actually wrestling. Especially because they're also trying to get over the War Raiders right now, and so or the Viking Raiders, excuse me, the Viking Experience. So they're still trying to get that over. So they just kind of like character building on the Street Profits while in-ring character building for the War Raiders. So I like it. I thought Kurt Angle was fun here, and I like they threw back to the Drew McIntyre thing. Yeah. Because that was a big moment for Drew McIntyre's like trajectory. So I think it made sense to play off of that for sure. Yeah. Well, you speak about Viking Raiders. They had a squash match next. Anything you want to say about that? I think the majority of the crowd is starting to side with you as opposed to me here. I'm prescient. I keep telling you people. Yes, go ahead. Well, I just think it's starting to be too many of them. I think that now there are starting to be too many of them. I think that it does feel like the fan base is a little bored. They were quiet. They were pretty quiet during the match, and I don't think it's reflective on the Viking Raiders. Right. Agreed. I think that the fans are just like, okay, we're ready for something else. Like you started them against formidable opponents, and then you took them off for a few weeks and you relegated them to these jobber matches, which is fine for a few weeks, but they've been going for like a month now. And I think people are ready to see them transition into a feud. I'm hoping it'll happen after SummerSlam, and I'm hoping that's the reason it was just prolonged, because it was like, well, what are we going to do? They're not going to be in a match at SummerSlam, so we'll just wait till after SummerSlam. And there are not that many face tags for them to go after, face tag teams rather, for them to go after, so that's concern as well. I actually think that's the reason they should have never been positioned as heels. I just don't think, I don't know. It's a great point. I just don't think it was needed. I think that their moveset, as brutal as it is, I think that it's a brutality that people cheer for. It's not like you're like, oh no. You're like, that bigger dude can fly off the top rope. That bigger guy can do cool stuff. And Raymond Rowe can or whatever his name is, Eric, whatever his name is now, Ivar, whichever one he is, he can just elbow the shit out of people and knee the shit out of people. Like, those guys are badass Vikings. And I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like the heel factor isn't clicking because they're not really doing anything that's heel-like. They're not cutting promos against anyone. They're not anything. So it's like, wait, are we supposed to be cheering them or not? And I think that's where the real confusion has kind of messed with everything. Yeah, agreed. And hopefully that we'll get something, as you said, after SummerSlam, and they can really show what they can do. Because all of us who like them as wrestlers want to see them in something where they get tested, challenged, win, lose, whatever. We still want to see them in the ring. And even in losing, I think, as long as good matches, you're still putting them over. That's what that's always been my claim. All right, great homage to Harley Race here near the middle of the show. Actually, sorry, because just before you, sorry, I just hate to cut you off. No. But I really hope after SummerSlam it's the Good Brother. Well, the OC, the OC versus Viking Raiders, because that would be killer matches, and I think that positions the Viking Raiders in a way that will get them over more. Yeah, maybe they'll be faces right after the SummerSlam, and why not? You change everything else all the time. And it's not like they've done anything that heelish. Right. They're not attacking anybody untoward. No. Yeah. They're not doing extra shit afterwards. They've insulted the fans, nothing like that. So the great homage to Harley Race, fantastic. Unfortunately, we lost him. 76, I think it was. 70 something. Yeah, 76. Something like that. 73, one of the two.
toughest SO. Like I remember going backwards to watch his matches when I was first getting into WWE because I keep with King of the Ring. All that. That's where I got to know Harley, and I was like, why does everybody fear this old man and blah blah blah? Like that was my mentality.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and watched his matches, especially stuff with Flair, you're just like, holy shit! I would have put. It's hard to argue who are his top 3 rivals for Flair. Is it Dusty, Harley, Ricky, or Steamboat? Or is it Steamboat above Harley? Like it's tough. And so the fact that he had
Also
these
Sting.
Yeah, and Sting, right. But it's later on, right? Sting as well. So those are great. All 4 of those are fantastic. But Harley carved out his own niche in that way, and I love that. What a great wrestler.
I just think, when you think of the NWA, you think of like tough guys.
Yep.
And there was no one who embodied the spirit of the NWA more than Harley Race, in my opinion. I think that he's just so like, when you think of that era, you think of like someone's dad who you wouldn't want to make angry.
Yeah, right. With the big meaty hand.
Yeah, big
and the large forearms.
you know what I mean? He like goes to a factory all day.
Right. He's
and
got the gut, but the gut's all muscle. And you're like, how's that possible?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so even just like the random placement of his tattoos, like he didn't have like some sleeve or like like, it was just kind of like me. I have one, but it was like this, and if I had one here, and just kind of like randomly placed tattoos, and it was just like a tough dude you wouldn't want to piss off in a bar. I feel like, and he was one of those guys that because of that he was always so respected by everybody, and so even if WWE maybe isn't where he was like where he's most associated with, I think it was great that WWE did that. I think that he is someone who deserves the attention on Raw like that, and also apparently because when whatever happened, he was going to a convention.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like at home when it happened.
Right.
When he was hospitalized.
Yeah.
And so apparently when they knew he was going to pass soon, and family wanted to see him. They wanted Medicare to helicopter him to his home. I think St. Louis. In Atlanta. And he's from St. Louis, and he apparently Medicare wouldn't pay for it, and of course, and so they reached out to WWE, the family, and when it was brought to Vince McMahon, he instantly approved it, and they paid for Harley to be transferred to another hospital so he could have a few more days to see family and friends and stuff like that. So kudos on them for doing that.
Absolutely.
And for doing a tribute to Harley.
Yeah. And the WWE Network always does a great job of doing these tributes and then finding these matches. And so look for that. I always, obviously it's always sad to lose a member of the wrestling family when you've grown up watching them. But when you see the tributes and the vignettes and them showing the matches and putting them all together, it's a great way to rediscover them or explore them again and fall back in love with what they did and their legacy. And that's always cool. So hopefully something will be coming soon for Harley that is merited. All right, Cedric and McIntyre get into this thing. McIntyre attacks Cedric from behind, and they fight outside. There was some brutal moves on each other. And then, I don't know, of course with Kurt Angle there as the guest referee, but out of nowhere, the Fiend shows up, puts the claw on Angle, and that's that with the laugh. Ryan.
Well, it's funny when I was watching this at home, and Cedric Alexander started to walk out, and he was getting way too much entrance time. Like
you're like, you knew it was coming.
In my head, I was like seeing him, and he was like so hyped up doing like multiple arm pumps, and I'm like, they're giving Cedric Alexander a little. Either he's real hyped or he's about to get attacked from behind. And literally, like, as I had that thought in my head, you just see that one shot from behind where he gets Claymore kicked from behind in the head by Drew McIntyre or whatever. And I was cracking. I was like, I knew it. And so they're fighting. And man, that DDT from Cedric Alexander was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
When he went running off the barricade, dove off onto Drew McIntyre and did that like spinning DDT thing, I went, whoa, the WWE roster is in like a contest right now to see who can do the coolest DDT lately, because there have been some awesome ones, and this one was maybe the top. I thought that was so cool. It just looked so smooth. Both of them played their part to perfection. And you know what? Since I am one of the people who was enjoying the Cedric Alexander Drew McIntyre feud, I feel like it's elevating Cedric Alexander to another level, and I love it. I was so invested in them fighting on the outside that I had completely let my guard down and wasn't thinking about what's going to happen next. So when the lights started to hit, I went, oh, like it literally, like it got me. Like it was like the pure, just the fan of me went, oh, you know, and I loved it. I audibly made that noise, and it was so cool because you went, how did I not think? Because right when it happened, you weren't thinking about it. It just happened recently to another legend.
Right.
It keeps happening when there's a random person in the ring. But I mean, were you expecting it?
No, not at all.
Right? Yes.
I was totally surprised.
Yeah. So when it started, like, I went like, oh, this is good. Yeah, good. Yeah.
I didn't know who he was going to attack.
Yeah, me neither.
And then when he went after Angle, like, okay.
It made the most sense.
Yeah, it made the most sense because you don't want to ruin the push of Cedric or even Drew, who's trying to get back up there.
Yeah, it's just not
And
unnecessary.
Pushes it away. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But best part about the Fiend thing, is that he's using that Mandible Claw again.
He is.
It wasn't. Maybe it was just a one-time thing for the Foley thing because Foley can't take bumps or whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Got a mustache hair in my mouth.
There you go.
Maybe it was supposed to be a one-time thing. Like, oh, here's a workaround.
Right.
Use the Mandible Claw because
Right.
he can't take a bump, and they all were backstage just like everybody else watching at home going, actually, that fits.
Mm-hmm.
That works. It's also a great moment of passing the torch. Like, first time he does it is on
Right.
Foley, and then he kind of like adopts it from there on. So I thought this was a hit all around.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It was good. I enjoyed it. We'll see how much more. I'm just like, I'm writing it out. I want to see where it goes. I want to see where it ends up, and who and when the fight happens at SummerSlam, how that goes down. Then I'll see how I feel about the Fiend and everything like that. Because I've been sitting on the sidelines, occasionally loving it, and then occasionally like worried about it. So that's the way I feel about it.
I am very much looking. I actually think it's one of the things I'm looking most forward to this weekend is the Fiend's quote unquote first match in WWE with this new adopted character. I'm wondering. I'm just wondering what the differences are going to be. If it's going to look like a normal Bray Wyatt match, or if he's going to try and like change things up a little bit. I am really looking forward to this match.
Yeah. And I will say this: I'm a Bray Wyatt fan. I didn't have a problem with how he was built or how it was all a matter of like booking and what have you, but that character was incredible. So I want to see what he does with this. I don't want him to flame out again with another character because then you only get so many strikes.
I also really hope because I already, I've already reported that Finn Balor's taking a vacation after SummerSlam, sometime after SummerSlam. I hope they write in a way that writes Finn off appropriately for a few months and also helps take the Fiend, kicks it up a notch for the Fiend. I hope there's something they can do that isn't just the Mandible Claw took him out for a few months or whatever. I hope they like do something really extreme to kind of like really sell the fact that the Fiend is fucking insane.
Fair point. All right, the New Day comes out with Big E and Xavier Woods taking on the OC. All of them. Gallows putting the makeup back on,
which was awesome.
That was cool. Gallows and Anderson and AJ Styles come out and they start beating up on Big E and Xavier. Ricochet comes out, attacks the OC, and then hey, what do you know? We got a 6-man tag. They go at it, but the OC does get the victory on Xavier, as Xavier usually does take the pin. But this helped push the OC forward. The Big Day, New Day doesn't need it, so it was good to help them elevate the OC a little bit more. And hopefully Gallows, and hopefully this whole thing is like a revitalization of this all. And this certainly is a good step forward for that.
Absolutely. I mean, each week they're kind of adding a new wrinkle to the OC that you go like, oh, that's what we missed when they did that. And so I think it's all going in the right direction. Absolutely. You said New Day loses nothing. New Day loses absolutely nothing by taking the loss here. Did you see the video WWE put up after the show of the OC?
No.
If you're like Rocha and you haven't seen it yet, go to Twitter and go check it out.
All right.
It is hilarious. It's about how they're going on a world tour, hooking up with moms. And it's like all about how like it's like, no, moms love us, like we're coming for your mom and all this kind of stuff. And then at the end, Sarah Schreiber like asks them something, and and I think it's AJ Styles. He goes, "Wait, are you a mom?" And she goes, "No," and he goes, "Gross," and he walks away. But he says like under his breath, he's like, "Gross," and like walks away. Cracked me up. It's
weird.
So good. It's so weird, but it's hilarious.
Right.
Go watch it. It's hilarious.
They're cornering the MILF market. All right. So,
the OC,
the OC. That's true.
To watch the OC.
That's a fair. Oh my God, are they leaning into it?
16 years ago, yesterday it debuted.
Wow.
I thought that was a fun fact. Maybe.
Holy crap. If they can get someone from the OC to do a promo with them.
No, they're not. I've noticed, if you've noticed, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, all three have not leaned into the OC joke at all.
The mom stuff?
No, that was me just making a joke.
Okay.
I have not seen them on social media lean into that joke at all.
All right, we'll see. All right, Samoa Joe comes out again, does the thing that a lot of wrestlers do over the last decades of the WWE, coming out, saying he's not leaving until somebody comes out, puts the chair in the center of the ring. The show isn't going to go forward. And then a PA comes up and goes, hey, man, Roman is actually outside in the parking lot. And Joe goes, oh, he's in the parking lot? All right, I'm running out there. Runs out to the parking lot. As he's about to confront Roman, who's pulling up and about to get out of his car, Roman's car gets hit, T-boned.
Well, wait, you left that way. Did you talk about when he's in the ring too?
Oh, yeah, sure.
He had a whole thing, which was also super awkward when he was in the ring first.
He was just sitting there.
And he was just sitting there.
And I was like,
and then the guy had to come like, hey, no, now he's pulling up. And you're like, does Joe just not how to understand what people are telling him backstage?
Yeah, Corey was like, guess we're going to be here for a while.
But yeah, sorry, continue. Because I felt like we couldn't leave out that weird, awkward in-ring part.
It's fair. But yeah, you get the Roman's car gets hit by, T-boned by a car. Then that car takes off. Joe starts to step towards it, maybe chase the car. But then all of a sudden, Joe becomes a nice guy, tells Roman to stay down, that, where's the emergency, where's security, blah, blah, blah. Then Triple H shows up and everything gets weird. This was weird. Did he just go face randomly all of a sudden? Like, what just happened?
Yeah, I did enjoy this one a little more than I
loved this.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one more than the thing falling on him because at least it looked a little more realistic. I liked the like almost confrontation between Joe and Roman Reigns, and then the car coming him going, oh shit, and like diving into the car. I like that shit is the word that they can get through now. They can if you're gonna get one word through on Raw, it's gonna be shit. Yeah. And so, oh shit, and dove back into the car. It looked, realistic to a certain degree.
It was him in there, wasn't it?
It looked like it.
It looked like him.
It was Roman Reigns flexing that Hobbs and Shaw acting muscle now. He's like, no. I do my own sets now. I almost threw an axe at a camera guy.
I held a big wrench. I'm good. I can do my
I moved the wrench from here to there in the background of Hobbs and Shaw. I got this, Vince.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, I felt bad. I tweeted the joke about that last night.
You did.
And someone replied to it and said, wait, Big Oos doesn't have any lines in the movie? And I just back to the person and they were like, well, not spending my money on that now. And then I was like, oh no, I didn't mean for that to happen. Honestly, I didn't want to get myself into a deeper hole. But now that I've seen it too, after you talked about it on the show recently, honestly, Roman Reigns' lack of lines actually made the movie more entertaining for Jamie Iovine and I.
Okay.
Because it was fun watching them try to squeeze Roman Reigns in as many scenes as possible and giving him something to do in the scenes so there'd be a reason for him to be a glorified extra in the movie.
He was a glorified extra.
Yeah.
Other Samoan actors got lines
who have
no notes and no name, but Roman couldn't get a line. In fact, there were two scenes where they cut away as soon as Roman opened his mouth. That's not good, man. So, but once again.
Well, technically he had one line.
Well, yeah. What was that? Oh, that's right. And he got in all his moveset as well.
Sorry to get off track there, but
and Roman shouldn't be the reason you go see or don't go see that movie. For God's sake.
Frosty was getting so mad at me in here in the office when Rocha and I were talking about this. I was saying how unbelievable every single thing that happens in the movie is. And he was just like, you're going to complain about that while watching the Fast and the Furious movie? You can't complain about that.
I mean, they drove cars through buildings, from building to building, which was absolute horseshit.
That happened in this movie too, and it was
true.
It was and then he drove on a hangar walkway, and I was like, come on, you can't do that. This is a fucking video game. But it was still a fun movie to watch.
It was a fun movie to watch.
Back to this though. I really did enjoy this. It helped elevate everything. It's
agreed.
It was almost like it almost felt like the person who's supposedly attacking Roman Reigns was pissed that he didn't get credit for it.
Yeah.
Like a serial killer would, where you go he was at home going, forklift driver? What the shit? Well, gotta go run him over now, you know? And so I like that element of things.
Enterprise, I need a rental car. Bam!
So I laughed at that. Not laughed at it, I enjoyed that. I also kind of, you know, I liked that Joe had a heart to a certain degree.
I'm down with the face turn on Joe. I'm absolutely down with it.
I do feel like his options have been exhausted as a heel.
As a heel. Yeah, go face for a little bit.
I'm actually cool with it.
Yeah, and the fans were great with him last night. When he came down that second time to sit in that ring, the song hit, and the fans were going, Joe, Joe, Joe. People are behind him. So let him go face for a little bit now. Like you said, there's other options for him to explore if he's face. It would be great.
Because I feel like he really has. I mean, he's lost to everyone.
Yeah.
He's lost to every face.
Right.
Like, at the end of the day, every time he's in a title match, he loses.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's played his role perfectly.
He has.
Reward him with the guy with the face run,
Yeah.
where, because look, it's not like he can't do that.
Right.
I was huge fan of Samoa Joe and Impact when he was a face. When he first came in there and he was like doing his thing, or just in general, a lot of times he was a face in Impact, and I loved him. Like, I thought he was. For a good stretch of time, he was my favorite wrestler, Samoa Joe.
I can see that.
During that period of time. You know, AJ Styles is up there, but like Samoa Joe was my guy for a little while during that stretch of time in Impact when they were first on Spike and stuff.
Yeah.
I loved him. I thought he was great. But he has it in him to be a face.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I thought if this is, I actually, when it was over, I thought, you know, it's kind of smart to turn Joe face again.
Yeah.
He really has been a heel since day one in WWE.
And AJ is a heel now.
True.
So you could switch the tables.
You can.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that.
It's also possible. It's all possible for him.
And you know what?
And Andrade, him fighting Andrade again is possible now as a face.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre is there for him as well. Yeah, and Balor is going away, so someone's got to take that spot.
That's a good point,
As
too.
a
I didn't really
face.
think about that.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually all in on Samoa Joe as a face now. And it kind of makes sense that it's like, it's almost like the little brother thing. I know it's not his little brother, but it's like, no, I can do dastardly things, but like, I was trying to kill him. Now you have messed up me trying to kill him by trying to kill him, so I must kill you.
Right.
I kind of like that idea of like of a way to kind of like turn Joe without changing who he is.
Yeah.
And so I liked it. I guess they showed new angles of the original attack, and you see Rowan walking away from the scene of the crime now. So. Maybe he was helping Daniel.
Could be.
I don't know. We'll find out, obviously. But also, I liked Triple H being there. I thought it added a sense of realism.
Sure.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yep, and we'll see. And maybe Joe's the mastermind of this whole thing. Who knows?
I was wondering that while watching it. I was wondering
he's playing nice just to trick Roman. We'll see. But either way, it's great to see him like kind of be a part of this whole program. And don't bash Renee when Michael Cole is dropping diamonds. Like, it's pretty clear what happened tonight was deliberate out of his mouth. Okay, let's move on. Next to the fatal four.
There was another thing. I want to say it was about
don't
the
bash Renee when
OBGYN.
Cole's getting away with shit like that.
I want to say it was I forget what it was, but there was something where Michael Cole and Corey Graves could not stop giggling over something they said.
Yeah.
And she was like, you guys are stupid. And it cracked me up. I forget what it was.
Corey even told her to shut up last night. I was like, what? All right.
Yeah, no, there was definitely some shots being thrown on commentary. I forget exactly what it was, but I just remember thinking whatever they were laughing at. It was that's what it was. It was during the tag match when they couldn't stop laughing about the word scurvy.
Oh, yeah.
About Kyrie saying having scurvy.
Yeah.
And then
the Pirate Queen.
Yeah. And then she was just like, you guys are stupid. And I laughed. That was one of my favorite, like, natural Renee. I was like, you guys are stupid.
Well, good segue, man. We got to jump into this fatal four-way tag match before we run out of time for the titles, for the tag team titles.
You wanted to go do a victory lap before we finish this?
Thank you. Well, look, the IIconics were taking on Mandy Rose and Sonya and Nikki and Alexa and the Kabuki Warriors there, Kairi Sane and Asuka. So to me, I was really surprised that they had the IIconics go out first. But that tells you where they thought the IIconics really were with that belt. And I wonder if Vince goes, I messed up. Just once. Could he look in the mirror and go, I really fucked that up?
This guy.
You know, I'm just saying.
This guy.
Terrible decision. You buried the titles. You essentially buried the frickin' titles and sent Sasha off TV. anything that takes Sasha off my television, including her doing it to herself, I don't like. So to me, this was a way maybe to kind of get it out of the way. But this was a decent match. There were a couple of blown spots.
Can you say that at least in the beginning of the match, when the IIconics were given a chance to wrestle, that they did impress?
I did write that down I did write that down. I said they had great tag team moments.
Yes.
And I don't disagree with that at all. Okay, I wish that could be more consistent throughout their matches. I think they would have stayed with the belts and had a little more of a legacy, so to speak, if they had been able to do that consistently through matches. Whether it's their decision or creative decision.
It's not their decision.
Not to let them do that.
It was not their decision.
Fair enough. I don't have inside information. I don't know. But like we get them eliminated first, then Sonya and Mandy get eliminated with a tap.
Did you see the video that WWE.com posted of the commercial break after the IIconics lost?
Oh, with them running around?
Running around for like 3 minutes just screaming. What was that all about? Like,
so
funny.
Like give our belts back or something?
Yeah, when they were screaming to get that they didn't lose, and Billie Kay just kept going like, "Yo, referee, you see? My shoulder went up." And she keeps doing like, she kept like kicking like that, like she was Elaine dancing at a party or whatever from Seinfeld. It was cracking me up. And she made this just like inaudible noise while screaming at the timekeeper to give the title belts back.
Yeah.
I laughed. It was surprising to have the IIconics lose first, but it didn't as much. I don't think that it was necessarily where the company sees them, and more so of it made you invested in the match, because now you go, that's fair. Now there's gonna be a new champion.
Totally fair.
I have to keep watching this.
Totally fair. Yeah, and then we did end up having a new champion. Mandy and Sonya get eliminated next. Mandy taps out. Although Mandy and that was kind of a blown thing with her and Asuka, where she picked her up and then like placed her down instead of dropping her. That was a little weird and confusing, but it led to her getting tapped out eventually. So they go out, and then the Kabuki Warriors versus Nikki Cross and Alexa. I don't like the decision, but I understand why the decision was made. It helps to solidify them more with the fans, but the Kabuki, I'm like, why do you have Paige if Paige is not going to do anything? Why is Paige on the side of the ring if she ain't going to interfere in some way? I don't mean in a heel way, but she can interfere in some way to help the Kabuki Warriors. So to me, this was frustrating because those two ladies can wrestle.
Yeah, that was my problem with it too, is that you go like, well, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross haven't even really been involved in all of this.
And they don't even really have chemistry. Like, to watch them wrestle together, I don't sense chemistry.
Fair.
With Kari and Asuka, and the Kari doing that thing with Alexa was brilliantly fun.
She also did this one funny moment, which was totally just impromptu thing, where she went to go like break up the pin, but the pin already got Asuka already kicked out. Yeah. And so like she started running in, and then it just looked like she was kind of like floating in the like corner while the ref pointed at her, and she was like kind of like went back, which killed me. I feel like I didn't get enough credit.
Yeah.
Oh, I just gave a cramp in my leg.
There you go. There you go, old man.
I can't stretch like that
There
anymore.
You go, old man.
But yeah, I laughed at that. But I also, I completely agree with you. Yeah. I think that, well, in terms of who should have won the match, the Kabuki Warriors, they're just like drifting. They need something to do. Yeah. People love Kairi Sane. People love Asuka. Yeah. People love Paige. Why are you just having them float aimlessly, into the void of not doing anything? Like Kairi Sane, I think she's been in a total of like 6 matches since she's gotten the call up. She's a former NXT Women's Champion. Like, people love her. People were like super into Kairi Sane. She could be pushing tons of merch. Kairi Sane could be a merch machine in the same way that New Day was or is, if carved in the right way, if handled appropriately. Because, dude, she's like colorful. She's got this whole thing going on, and Asuka is this like beast. Yeah, Asuka is this like undefeatable monster. Kairi Sane is this lovable pirate princess that's colorful. You could be doing a lot with that. Yeah. And to me, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross didn't need it.
Yeah, they don't need it.
They already have their Moment of Bliss segments. Yeah. They already are doing lots of things with those two. Mm-hmm. I don't think they needed it. Yeah. And I get that, yes, okay, fine. You look at it this way. You go, okay, they probably took it off the IIconics because they weren't using the IIconics on TV. They couldn't think of something to do with them. Right. However, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they already know what they're doing with them. They're already using them on TV. So this way, people aren't bitching every day about the women's tag team titles not being represented on the show.
Well, and they're already in a program with Bayley.
And they're killing 2 birds with one stone.
And they're already in a program with Bayley for a title, right?
No, because she's with Ember Moon now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, she's
All
going
right,
against Ember
fine.
Moon now.
But still.
So you go, well, look at, we're featuring Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross all the time.
Yeah,
So you might as well put the title on them. So that way the show's represented. We kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
We've got ladies on the show, but they're also tag team titles. I get it. I get the thought process behind it.
Right.
I just think that you would have gotten a lot more out of getting behind the Kabuki Warriors.
No one's more surprised than me that I'm like not happy that Alexa won it.
Yeah, I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah, but like I also understand that the narrative of this is the Kabuki Warriors needed a freaking title, and they need titles. And I don't know if it's the limited. Is it that Paige is limited with how much she can travel and do stuff? I don't
think so.
know. I don't know because
I don't think so.
She's always going back home on her Instagram. I see
Well,
her.
'cause she doesn't have to be the live events and stuff.
Right, and that's what I wonder about. If they put the title on the Kabuki Warriors, will she have to increase her travel schedule? I don't know. If
Wouldn't
that
matter if
factors
she
into
did.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't
it
think
all
that has
works.
anything to do with it.
All right, fair enough. But we'll see what they do with this.
A lot of
Obviously,
times the managers aren't sometimes the managers aren't necessarily on the live events.
Okay.
Just-
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll see what happens if this helps or hurts, but maybe this sets up something down the road. Certainly, if Sasha comes back and Bayley loses the belt somehow, Sasha and Bayley back together again, going after those belts against two girls who had teamed up against Bayley, Nikki and Alexa, could work down the road. We'll see.
And Alexa Bliss was kind of like, kind of rubbing it in the fact that they're not tag team title, that Bayley is not tag team champion anymore.
Yeah, right.
Semi recently.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, if Sasha is coming back, I guess in theory you could say that you could have Bayley drop the title to Ember Moon at SummerSlam,
Right.
and start a new thing with Alexa Bliss and Nikki and Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's finish out. We'll see what happens, obviously, as it goes down. We'll see what happens. Let's finish off here with Miz TV welcoming Shawn Michaels and Dolph Ziggler. I actually enjoyed Dolph's promo this time around, even though it had shades of stuff he said before. There was something a little more authentic to it this time around that I enjoyed. He signs the contract thinking he's going to fight Miz. Miz, with that crazy jacket he's wearing, goes back at Ziggler saying, oh, yeah, this is the problem with you. You never read the fine print, and it's not me you're fighting. We're going to fight on Raw. Ziggler's confused by this. You think it's Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels says, oh, no, it's not me. It's Goldberg. And damn it.
It's not me. It's someone that you actually don't want to watch wrestle.
Exactly. And it's Goldberg. And the fans go insane. That man is still over no matter what he does. Ryan, please take it.
No, I mean, you guys, you and Erica, my girlfriend, to those of you who are watching and listening, took my tweet last night in a crazy direction. I was not saying I'm excited to watch Goldberg wrestle again.
Oh,
I was
felt like it.
very much not a fan of that Super Showdown match.
Okay.
What I was saying,
no one was, right.
I am just not a negative person like you, Rocha. So I was choosing to
honest.
take the
Honest?
positive. No, I was being honest.
I'm not negative. I'm honest. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was choosing to find the positive of last night of going, okay, I didn't like this, but I'm like everyone else. I don't want to just rush to my phone and be like, Matt Riddle for life, fuck this. Like I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be like, fuck Goldberg. I looked at it and I go, you know what? The optimist in me, the objective person in me looked at it and went, you know what? Undertaker was in that match too. And I get that Undertaker obviously has more goodwill with the entire wrestling community than
right.
Goldberg. But Goldberg's a legend, man. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
he is a legend, of course.
Like Goldberg drew huge crowds. Like Goldberg is a legendary wrestler. Like, he might not have some of the best matches of all time.
Sure.
But he does have some of the most memorable matches of all time. He's got a couple of most memorable matches of all time. I wouldn't say like all of them, but he's got some extremely memorable matches.
I've got nothing against.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And so to me, all I said was that I would like to see him redeem himself from the match he had at Super Showdown, because I don't want that to be the memory that people have of Goldberg.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be the final memory of Goldberg. That shitty match in Saudi Arabia that was already controversial for
Right.
where it was. Then on top of it, the way it all unfolded to where now it's become even a thing on TV where they're talking about how terrible the match was on TV, which doesn't happen very often, where you hear on
right.
TV that one of their own matches was terrible. So everyone felt that way about it. And so all I was saying is that I would love to see him redeem himself with a decent match, a good match, a passable match at SummerSlam that we're not like rolling our eyes at. And I do think that having him up against someone like a Dolph Ziggler, who's a bump machine, who can work. Dolph Ziggler can work his ass off.
Sure.
He's a great wrestler.
Yeah.
He can help make Goldberg look good, is all I'm saying.
If this is a 3-minute match, will it make him look good?
No. If it's a 10-minute match, it will.
Right, but he hasn't fought a 10-minute match since he came. I mean,
that Super Showdown match was like 10 minutes.
And what happened there?
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, well, that's what concerns me, because Ziggler shouldn't be going out for a 3-minute match. He should go out there for a longer match.
Agreed.
Okay.
I hope that it's a 10-minute match.
Okay, and that he redeems himself.
And that it's not.
Goldberg's not known for fighting long matches.
That's not that long. 10 minutes is not that long.
Okay, but I mean, in comparison to what Goldberg has wrestled before.
He's wrestled 10-minute matches. He's wrestled 30-minute matches. I mean, he's wrestled long matches before.
Not
a very long time.
I was going to say, when he was younger.
But he can get through a 10-minute match.
I hope so.
I would like to say, do I think that it's going to be entertaining if he goes out there and spears him, hits the jackhammer, and leaves? No, I think that would be stupid.
Right.
I have no problem saying that.
Right.
But I do think that if they want to redeem the name of Goldberg a little bit, that having a squash match isn't really how to do it.
Yeah.
It's going out there and putting a 10-minute match that shows that Goldberg can still lace up the boots and put on a fucking good match if he's in there with the right opponent and not someone else who has been away from the ring for an extended amount of time. You know, someone who can carry him to a match that makes Goldberg look good. Like that's what used to happen. You know,
true.
You know, so that's what I hope for when I say that. You know, am I excited to see Goldberg in the ring again? Absolutely not. Like I don't think that I don't have confidence that it's going to happen. Right. But I do hope that he's able to make it happen since they have that confidence in him. You know, that they're going out there and putting him on that stage again after Super Showdown. So I don't think it's a good idea. Right. I'm not hyped to see Goldberg again. However, I would love to see him prove everyone wrong. Yeah. That's more so what I meant in my tweet.
Okay. Well, maybe Eric and I want you to be a little more clear with your tweets.
No, you and Eric want me to be meaner in my tweets.
One last thing. I know we're over an hour, and I'm so sorry, but there was so much to talk about.
There was a lot last night.
One last thing. And this is my own point of view, it's very interesting. SummerSlam is almost WrestleMania light now, with two legends wrestling here, with Trish and Goldberg wrestling solo matches. Interesting.
I thought that too. Yeah. Last night I was thinking, wow, it's an interesting decision to have Goldberg and Trish Stratus on the show, showcasing legends, almost like a Super Showdown type show where they're doing that. I also thought it was an interesting choice. The Trish match I'm obviously hyped for.
Yeah, definitely. You have more faith in that one.
Yes. Goldberg, we'll see. Yeah. The jury's out, obviously, on what they're gonna do with that. But I thought it was an interesting decision. It felt to me a lot like them going like, hey, look, we still have other stars that we haven't always brought out, even though Goldberg's increasingly becoming one of them. But it's like, there's other legends in our catalog that we can pull out whenever we want to like blow you away. And I feel like that's the vibe they're trying to go for.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. It's a send-off show for SummerSlam this weekend. I'm excited for it, and also a takeover, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night on Smackdown Live. All right, that's our Raw wrestling recap here on the Pro Wrestling Sheet. Ryan, tell them where they can read, listen, and watch everything we do.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling. At Wrestling Sheet on social media. YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. That's where you can find the videos that we do here of the Raw and Smackdown recaps. Also, Wrestling Sheet Radio with myself, Jamie Iovine, and Elijah Bates. Also, I have an interview hitting the YouTube channel later this week with Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champion Ethan Page. It's a really fun conversation that we had for about an hour here in the office. Lots of fun stuff. I think you guys will love it. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so that you get a notification when it goes out there. If you're watching this video on there, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Leave comments. I read them. I respond to some of them when I have time, or mainly the good ones. I respond to the good ones. So make sure you guys go check out that and subscribe. And also, if you just want to listen while you're driving, working out, cooking, doing whatever, check out our podcast feed. It's on all the major podcast platforms. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio.
There you go. And you can follow him at Ryan Said. Follow me at The Rocha Says, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with a SmackDown Live recap on the Pro Wrestling Sheet.
ProWrestlingSheet.com